Hello, and welcome to Inside View. I'm your host, Sid Marsh, and with me today is Arlene Weissman from Sierra Hope. We're going to learn a lot about Sierra Hope, and they have a new program for rental relief regarding COVID-19. Welcome, Arlene.
Thank you.
Well, tell me a little bit about Sierra Hope. What is Sierra Hope exactly?
Sierra Hope is a small agency in Angels Camp that got started about 25 years ago. The director is Jerry Cadott, and he's been with the agency. He founded the agency, and it started to be of assistance to people with AIDS or HIV, helping them find places to live, providing assistance. There are two case managers who have caseloads of people in several counties, not just Calaveras. And they visit and they assist, and there is one of the employees is a nurse, and she can administer HIV tests, which are also done occasionally at the agency. And housing became important over the years, and I must say there is little to no housing available in Calaveras County.
Right.
So what Sierra Hope can do is, if somebody manages to find a place, they can help with first and last, and help them get into the apartment.
Tell us about this program you were talking to me about the California COVID-19 relief.
Yes, I was hired specifically to work on that program. It's a little different than the other work that Sierra Hope does, but it involves housing. And back in 2020, Governor Newsom and the legislature passed legislation, SB 91, that is geared to help people with back rent and utilities that were caused by COVID-19.
Like if they got laid off or something like that.
In other words, yes, you lost your job, or you had to stay home with your kids because there was no school, or your company went out of business. And several causes of financial hardship. You might have gotten sick yourself, or a family member, or you had added expensive for medication, or you had to provide a funeral for someone. So there's a whole list of connections to COVID-19 that could have caused this hardship, both for rent and utilities.
Well, now how does one apply for this?
Well, first you have to find out if you're eligible.
Oh, okay.
So you have to live in California. You have to, in whichever county you're in, because Sierra Hope is the partner for this program in Calaveras County. And every county has a median income level, and you have to be 80% or less of that income level to be eligible. And you had to have a connection, your financial hardship had to be connected to COVID-19.
What is Calaveras' medium income level?
I think I have that here.
That might be important for people to know.
Let's see. Oh, the whole county is like 81,000 something. The median family income in Calaveras County is $81,700.
But you have to be 80% below that?
Yeah. So, for instance, a family of 4 who is at 80% has to earn less than $65,350 a year. Now, this program is prioritizing the people who are even lower than that. It goes, they have numbers for 50%, of the median income and 30% of the median income.
So the lower your income is, the more money you can give them to help for the
well,
rent?
we can only give what is verified back rent.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back as far as April 1st of 2020. And it was supposed to end on March 31st of 2021. It has been extended. And so rents up to, I believe, for the latest legislation now provides reimbursement of rent up to September of this year.
Of 2021.
The other thing that is up to September of this year is that as long as someone was able to pay 25% of the rent, they cannot be evicted for reasons of not paying rent. You still can't be a bad tenant because the landlord can evict you for other reasons. So back rent can be paid to the landlord at 100%. That was something else that just changed recently from 80% of the back rent. I don't want to go into that too much because that can be confusing. 100% for a total of 12 months. So some people may have not felt the full force of this until later in 2020 or even 2021. So it's possible to go for a year of unpaid rent. And there is an application process if
Right.
you're eligible.
Okay, how does one apply? Back to that question.
There is a telephone number for information, and it's a toll-free 800 number.
Right.
And
Do you have that
I
number?
do. It is 833-430-2122. And that number will, the people at that number will ask several questions. And if you are eligible or if you qualify, there are two ways to apply. You can do it online, but that is beyond a lot of people, especially in this area. Not only do you have to have the broadband, you have to know what you're doing, and you have to be able to upload documents, which means you also have to have a scanner. So with that, not available to most people, they can set up appointments for people with these partner agencies in the various counties. And so at Calaveras, it's Sierra Hope. And the reason that there's these 800 numbers, we don't make our own appointments. There's several levels of organizations that are involved in implementing this program. And I don't even know some of them. But I know that appointments are made elsewhere, and I'm notified. And the applicant is notified of the time and day of the appointment. And the applicant is also advised what they need to bring,
Right.
because there is documentation. It has been streamlined. The application over the several months has been really streamlined. So there is less required, but you need proof of your income from any source and every source. And you need, for utilities, you need your latest utility bill. And some people have taken advantage of this, let's make it paperless, so it's on their phones. And what we've done is taken a picture of what's on their phone and printed it and then uploaded that.
As long as you can document it.
As long as you can document it.
Right.
And they need to document how much rent they owe, and document how many months they've owed it. So it helps if you have a cooperative landlord.
Mm-hmm.
So going into the landlord side of it, if both apply, it makes it very easy. And the landlord's application is much shorter and simpler than the tenant's application. And they don't have to apply at the same time. In fact, once one application is accepted, say the tenants, the landlord will be notified and invited to participate.
Right.
And that's why it's important for other information to come to this interview, and that is the landlord's name, address, telephone number, and email. And again, it's helpful to have a cooperative landlord.
Well, if a landlord sees that they have a tenant that is getting into trouble, they can contact you.
And they have.
Okay, so it's kind of a win-win for both.
Yes. If the landlord wants to be absolutely sure the money will come directly to him or her, they do their part to participate. Mm-hmm. If they don't, the money goes to the tenant who swears in writing that he or she will give that money to the landlord.
For rent, right.
For back rent. And that's one. Then there's utilities.
Uh-huh.
And 100% of back utilities can be paid directly to the utility, and that's water, garbage, propane, PG&E. Some rentals include that in their rent, and for some, it's separate, and you could apply for those as well with current bills.
Now, how many people have you helped out so far?
Well, at the beginning, it didn't seem like the news was getting out very well because for weeks I didn't have any appointments. Now they are really moving. I've had 7 recently. We're a small county, mm-hmm. and finally people are getting the message.
Yeah, I would think landlords would love to hear about this in case they have a problem or whatever. Put it on the Pine Tree or different places like that.
On the Pine Tree. There was a press release that our director put out. I'm doing this. I've posted flyers in so many places and sent them to agencies all over the county. But the problem is so many offices are closed to the public. Mm-hmm. And so much is done over the phone or by email that there's less of an opportunity to see what's available. The libraries have them. Libraries have flyers. Food pantries have flyers.
And you were saying that actually Sierra Hope has its own food pantry, right?
And one flyer goes in every bag every week.
So people can sign up for the food pantry for Sierra Hope, and
when they get their bag of food, they also get a flyer.
So you're trying any avenue to get the word out. We're here to help. If you're
churches
behind in your rent, please see Sierra Hope.
Yeah, they can call us directly, but we can't make our own appointments. I can explain, I can tell them about the program and what they have to do, but they need to call that number, that 833-430-2122, and someone out there will set up the appointment with them and then let me know.
So that's for all the counties, like the Gold Rush
That
counties?
seems to be statewide, that this organization centralized number.
Uh-huh.
When they ask the caller, where do you live, that's how they determine who will be their helping agency.
Now, does Sierra Hope just help Calaveras, or are they in Tuolumne or Amador? Or?
We're getting, how can I explain this? I'm getting a number of people from Tuolumne.
Mhm.
Now, there's supposed to be a larger agency. Some of the agencies cover several counties. And some of the agencies have only taken on that first tier, which is just getting the word out, or the second tier, which is encouraging people to apply, but they're not helping people with the applications.
And Sierra Hope does all three, all three tiers.
If they come, we're not going to turn them away.
Right.
And what the people who take the calls at the 800 number do, they look for the closest agency that is offering help. And that's often Sierra Hope.
Well, we've heard a lot about Sierra Hope and what have you. How about you? How did you get involved with Sierra Hope, and what's a little bit of your background?
Well, I've known about Sierra Hope for years and been very impressed with the work they've done and the people who work there. I have a background in counseling and social work, and just enjoying helping people. I thought along with the pandemic, maybe I should just retire.
Okay.
I've been doing this for a long time. And then when I received my second vaccination, I somehow was thinking, what's out there? Maybe a small part-time job, like the one I had just before at Murphy Senior Center.
Now, what did you do for them, for Murphy Senior Center?
I did outreach
okay.
about the center, and I also, one day a week, I was at the center kind of overseeing the classes and the programs for that day. It was delightful and easy. So I thought, well, let's see if there's something else like that out there. And I thought maybe max 20 hours. Then I saw this particular job, and it was 32 hours. And I read the requirements, and I said, I can't pass this up. I have to try.
You love to help people.
I do.
And so far, it's been a good fit for you.
And so far, it's been great. I've loved it.
Well, what other things does Sierra Hope do besides the rental program, the food bank? They're still involved with AIDS? Are they still involved?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. They can do testing there. They have 2 caseworkers. They get a grant. And since I've just been there since April, and I haven't really been involved in these other programs, but I know they offer help, not just for people with AIDS or HIV, but they help people getting into homes. They have a transitional house.
Oh, okay. Where is that?
The transitional house is right behind the agency. It's very small, and whole families may be in one room. But that's to get people into a home, a roof over their heads, and then to see if something else is available. And then just a few months ago, what used to be a thrift store next to Murphy Senior Center was totally remodeled by the Lutheran Church and Sierra Hope, working with volunteers, into a beautiful little house.
I'm very familiar with that thrift store, and I've always wondered what happened when it closed. So that's what happened.
That's what happened.
Oh,
There
okay.
is a family in there now.
So it's a transitional house?
That is more of a stay as long as you need to house. The transitional house is awaiting, and this family came from the transitional house into that house. So they have a card in one of those brochure holders that asks landlords to just join in this effort to help people get a place to live, get a roof over their heads, get some sense of security.
Yeah, low-income housing in the foothills here is very hard to find.
It's almost impossible.
Right.
Now, I heard that Habitat is going to be building a number of units, but they seem to be single-family homes and possibly a few apartments in Angels Camp.
Oh.
I haven't heard the latest. I know everything got set back by the pandemic. But I really hope they build apartments. It's so needed.
So, how many people did you say have gone through your program, and how much money do you have set aside for the program?
Well, that's
a grant.
my boss.
Oh, okay.
There's a good-sized grant because the state put aside a lot of money to help people. It seems the state got more income than it expected.
So the money is sitting there, it just needs to be spent in the right direction.
And it's being spent to help people with
Right.
COVID-19. This is just one program. There's another program to help businesses.
That's through the state, or is that through Sierra Hope?
Through the state.
Through the state, okay.
And they're using the federal funds that were sent to all the states
Mm-hmm.
to just bring back some sense of normalcy, to help the economy, to help people come back from this.
Has your agency set any kind of goals that you would like to help X number of people or that sort of
Just
thing?
as many as possible.
As possible.
Yeah, so there is a site that I look up every morning that tells me whether I have any new appointments.
Mm-hmm.
And Wednesday is really the only day that we set aside for doing anything other than appointments. There's an appointment scheduled for Monday, for Tuesday, and for Thursday, and I only work 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
So they're filling up.
How many appointments a day can you take?
It depends on how prepared the applicant is. If it can go 2 hours if we have to figure out how to do this and how to do that, and call and say, can you fax that document so we can upload it, and wait. Or if someone has everything they need, the proof of income, the back rent owed, the income, back rent owed, the utilities owed. It used to be even more that they needed, but that has been really made a lot easier lately.
What do you see as your demographics? Do you see more young families, or do you see older couples, or what kind of demographics do you run into?
Single people.
Single people?
Single people.
But older?
Older
Okay.
single people. There are a couple of families. There are single moms, single dads,
Mm-hmm.
In various stages of applying.
But the overall thing was for families, it sounded like, originally.
It is for anybody.
Oh, okay.
It is for anybody. And as I say, once we get the applications out into the whatever is out there in the computer, and they're accepted, and I get a notice either that, oops, there's something missing, or it's been accepted, and then it's assigned to a case manager.
Not to you.
No, no, no.
Okay.
I'm the one who just helps them file the application.
Okay.
And if more information is needed, both the applicant and I will get in an email. The other thing that can be problematic is that the people who have created this program are making a number of assumptions. People have broadband, people have email, people have cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
And what can complicate how long these appointments take also can depend on their degree of participation in the internet.
Right. They're technical savvy and that sort of
Yes,
thing, right?
yes.
How about libraries? That would be a good source for these people to be able to scan and look at the internet and that sort of thing.
If, this application, even though it's been made simpler, can really throw some people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had people come in who said, I'm going to do the application online. And they got past the first page and they scratched their heads and said, what does this mean? So that's when they decide they need help.
That's when they call you.
That's when they call
The
me, and I
800.
refer them to the 800 number, and then they have an appointment with me.
Great. Why don't you give us that 800 number again?
Okay, 833, and it's toll free.
Right?
833-430-2122.
And that's for the California COVID-19 Rental Relief Program.
That's their information line.
That's their, and if they're in this area, they'll wind up talking to you and then to a caseworker? That's how it would happen?
Yeah.
You kind of
and
put the thing together and then you pass it on to the caseworker?
It gets passed on, yes.
Right.
And that 833 number is for the entire state. So if somebody sees this and is not living in Calaveras, when you call that number and you're asked where you live, they'll tell you who can help you and where. And some cities, very large cities, or a county like Los Angeles, they're doing it themselves through the county or the city. So
You're doing it for Calaveras?
And yes, we're doing it for Calaveras.
Well, Arlene, we really appreciate everything you're doing for us.
Well, thank you for
Thank you for
letting me
coming on
come
our
and
show.
explain.
Well, I'm Sid Marsh, and this has been Inside View, and we'll see you the next time.